What up? How's it going? Matt Sweets here, and I have a very special video for you today. I am going to be going through and showing you a little bit of the history and my collection of the Mugen Kendamas. Now, you're either watching this video being like, man, I love Mugen Kendamas, I love the history of them, I hope I learned something new. Or you're like, what are Mugens? What is Sweets talking about, and why do these old Kendamas matter? Well, I hope to teach you all something a little bit in this video. Sweets Kendamas, we have one of the largest collections of Mugens in the world. We are only missing a few pieces to have the full set. I know there's a few other people in the world who actively collect them, but I'm pretty sure ours is one of the largest. Mugen is a very, very special company because of a man named Kazuma Iwata. Kazuma is one of the most legendary kendama makers of all time, and he's the man, the myth, the legend, the reason that kendama exists in Japan as largely as it does, and why it's as popular as it is today. He is one of the reasons that kendama has been progressed forward, and why kendama shapes and paints have changed, because of what he did in the very beginning. Kazuma started in 2002. Hatsukaichi is where kendama is from. It's the birthplace, and it started to die. And so Kazuma's family, they have a shop where they make brushes, really nice brushes out of wood. And they are very, very famous for making that kind of stuff. So they asked Kazuma, they said, hey, would you like to make kendamas? Could you make kendamas? So he was a college student, and he started doing it on the side. He had worked for his dad for 12 years or so. So he started doing kendama. The next year, he started to go full-time in kendama. He was graduating from school, and things were getting to grow, and he made 850 kendamas for schools, for nurseries, elementary schools, and he started to spread kendama around. From there, the JKA started to find out about it, so he made a few for them. He got licensed by the JKA, and he started making kendamas that we know today in around 2004. So what I'm going to do today is show you a bunch of the damas, show you why they're important and what's so cool about them, and hopefully teach you a little something about Mugen that you don't know. So when he started making kendamas, there was the original 9 that he made. There were 9 solid colors that were the stock ones that you could buy. There were 5,000 to 7,000 of each one of these made. So in Japan, this was the colors that he made the most of. He doesn't have specific numbers of how many were made, but he guesstimates 5,000 to 7,000, somewhere around there is how many of each of these solid colors he made. Now, these each one came in this plastic. This was how you know it's a Mugen. It's because it came in this white packaging. It has the Mugen symbol on it. So when you were buying Mugens back in the day, these were just as important, the white packaging that it was coming in. That's how you knew that it was official. And now, I start with the black because it was, to me, like the least desirable. All these colors here, each one had its own time where it was like the coolest, but the black to me was always the one where it was like, some people liked it, some didn't. It's very hard to track. It's a hard dama to play with. So to me, it was like the least desirable. So that's the black Mugen. Really nice. One thing that Kazuma is famous for and known for is his paint job. And he was the first kendama manufacturer to start using a lacquer gloss coat. So a lot of paint companies, or a lot of like Ozura, TK, they didn't have a clear coat. They didn't have that lacquer sheen on top that gives it that pop, that gives it that nice stickiness that we know Mugen to have. So he was reinventing the kendama back in the day. It's one of the main reasons he stopped making kendamas. The JKA told him that his paint was too sticky and that he had to take away some of the tackiness in order to keep compliant with the JKA, and he's like, I'm not changing my paint. And that's why he stopped making kendamas, and that's why today they are so popular, because he only was able to make a certain amount of them before he was told he couldn't make them ever again. So a lot of kids out there don't know the story of Mugen, or why they're important and why they were so popular back in the day, but the real reality is in 2012 we didn't have great kendamas. When kendama was just starting here in America, we didn't have the nicest of nice primes and big cups and sticky paint. Like, that stuff didn't exist. We had slick damas and small cups and stall points that weren't perfect for the bevels that they had, but Kazuma changed all that. And he made a perfect shaped kendama that could do lunar, could do the bird, that could land lighthouses without like correcting it forever. He was the person innovating. So that's a big deal why in 2012, 2013, Mugens were so expensive, and why it was so hard to find one, because they were the best kendama in the world. You couldn't get a better kendama. I'll keep going in importance of color, in my opinion. Again, this is just from what I know from buying, selling them, watching the community. The next two are probably the blues. So this is the light blue and the dark blue. So the light blue is just a smidge lighter, kind of like a sky blue, I think. And then this is a darker blue, more of a true marine blue, real dark. And these were next in line, I guess. So when I was looking for kendamas, when I was looking for Mugens, when they first were starting to come around, I started collecting in 2012 or so, when I first started to realize what they were and how cool they actually were. So these were two I could find pretty easily, and you could too. Still today, like Mugens are still available. They're still around. The prices are a little expensive. Blacks and blues are going to cost you $200 no matter what. If they're new, you know, $200 to $300 is very reasonable for a blue or a black. In package, brand new. You can get used ones for different prices under that, but brand new Mugens are always $200 in my opinion, if not more, just depending on what color it is and how much you want that color. The next one, red, is the most classic of all the Mugen colors because it's the red dot of Japan. So in kendama, the red to me is always the most traditional. It's always the most like sought after as far as the true collector, because the red is just, it's that Japan. It's the dot of Japan. It's so fresh. So all these are fresh again, like a $300 Dama, fresh out the box. Next, now is when it starts getting tough. We got the pink and the yellow. Definitely two favorites in the community. I think these are both first edition as well. I don't worry too much about first editions. They come in boxes instead of the plastic. And so we have a couple of first editions, but in my collecting life, it's not really important to me if things are first edition or not. So two next important, pink, yellow. All right, after that, the white. Definitely most played by Satoru Akimoto, Shimadera-san. I know Shopfer has a ton of these. Royce, this is like, was the one. If you played a Mugen, this is the one you wanted because you could see the hole so nice amidst all that white paint. So this is definitely one of my favorite ones. I would say 400 at least for a white, brand new packaging, no problem. Then the two next, in my opinion, are the two most sought after Mugens, the two that are the most beautiful, the most like legendary, which is the gold and the wine. Two of my favorite. I own both of them actually in my personal collection. I jam them both and they play amazing. The gold is definitely $400 or $500 kendama, and so is the wine, I would say. The color is something you really can't see, and this video will never do it justice, but if you ever come to the sweet shop, you can see a wine kendama of your own. This color is just amazing, and Kazuma is truly a magician at painting, and so this translucent paint, the only translucent out of all of them, is my favorite and by far one of the coolest. So that's the traditional line. That's the solid lineup. That's the ones that he made the most of. And so if you're lucky enough to get your hands on one, do yourself a favor, own a piece of kendama history. That's what's up. So you'll notice I have a bunch more Mugens over here as well. So I've taken my collecting to the very extreme of trying to get the most rare Mugens in the world. I have all of them except one painted and two of the hardwood ones. So I'll scoot over a little bit and just try to get you in on these. We're going from the amount of least rare to most rare right now, okay? So for this right now, we have the Carp. It may look like the most rare because it's the full red. It's got the Carp logo on it, which is the Japanese baseball team from Hiroshima, the Hatsukaichi Carp. They've collabed in the past and they've collabed with Muso as well, but this one is probably one of my favorite. He made about 150 of these, so still, in the whole world there's 150. I was lucky enough to find one on eBay, and thanks to all the people who helped me find these too. Shout out to you. I don't know exactly who sold me everything. I know a bunch of them, but I don't know well enough to shout them out. So if you've ever sold me a Mugen, you've helped build the Sweets Museum when it comes to Mugens, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Next, the Purple Pearl. 116 of these made. This one was made as a memento to the JKA. So the JKA is the Japanese Kendama Association, and each year Mugen made a special kendama to give to them for their competition. So the blue and the purple were both done. The purple, we made 116. The blue one, there was about 70 made, Kazuma said, and all these words and all these stats are coming straight from Kazuma himself. He's a good friend of mine, and I told him I was doing this video, and I was like, man, give me as much info as you have. So he hooked me up with what he could, telling me how rare these kendamas are. Next up is the half split. A lot of people call this the Pokeball, even though it's not half split the other way. There were about 65 of these ones made. Next, this is one I personally have not had in my collection. Like, this is one I recently got like 2-3 weeks ago from Christian MOA from Mugen Kendama. It's the Emerald. It's the Dama that I've wanted since I started playing Kendama, and I've been lucky enough to get it here recently thanks to Christian. So shout out to him. Shout out to this Dama being one of the most beautiful Kendamas I've seen in my whole entire life. It's another one of those translucent Damas that you won't know how beautiful it is until you see it yourself. So if you come to the MKO, come check it out. This thing is beautiful. There were 63 of those made. So definitely a rare Kendama. Next is the Star Road. Star Road and the Dragon were both painted by Kazuma's sister. And so this is an all black Kendama with just a little hint of gold on the side and on the Tama and on the Ken. One of the most beautiful Kendamas in the collection. There's just no doubt about it. It's one of my favorite. There were 70 of these made, so definitely one of the most rare in the collection. And the fact that Kazuma's sister painted it is amazing to me. The last two are the Kotabukis, the red and blue Kotabukis. These ones, Kazuma wasn't even able to give me info on himself. These ones are painted with 24 karat gold flake. It's a blue and a red. From what I know about them, they don't come with seals because they were gifted to people only. So you got this if you were gifted to it as a wedding present or something like that. So I know a few people have got them, and that's the only way they've got them. I was able to buy them, so I'm super lucky. But yeah, red and blue Kotabuki, 24 karat gold flakes in the paint. And those, like I said, I don't have a number on. So maybe some of the most rare Damas on the table, to tell you the truth. But that is the full collection that we have at Sweets. We're missing a Dragon Yin Yang Kendama. We're also missing an Ebony and a Kiyaki Hardwood Kendama. Aside from that, Kazuma made some minis, he made some jumbos, but for the most part, we have the collection, and I feel very proud to be able to have all these Kendamas and to teach future generation of Kendama players who Kazuma is, what Kendamas he made, and why they're important. I know a lot of kids today don't quite know why Kazuma is so important and why Mugen costs 200 bucks, but I hope today I helped you realize a little bit more why Kazuma is important and why Mugen is important. Thanks a lot for checking out this video. If you stayed this long, I've got a very special announcement. Kazuma Iwata himself is going to be at the MKO this year. So if you're coming on through, you're going to get to meet the man, the myth, the legend himself, Kazuma Iwata. So bring your Mugens, have them get signed. We are also very excited to share something very special with you and the whole world at MKO. You're not going to want to miss it. Later.